meeting, I would ask Yaqub Hanif to recite Fatiha.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. I start in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Praise be to Allah, Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Merciful, Master of the Day of Judgment. Thee alone we worship, Thee alone we ask for help. Show us the straight path, the path of those whom Thou hast favored, not the path of those who earn Thine anger, nor of those who have gone astray.
Rose Ford and Reverend Luke Larner from St Andrew's Church will now lead us in prayer.
Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of all our hearts be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, my strength and Redeemer. In the name of God, the most gracious and most merciful Scripture teaches us of our unity under God's grace. The Quran tells us, O mankind, we created you from a single pair of a male and a female, and made you into nations and tribes, that ye may know each other, not that ye may despise each other. Verily, the most honored of you in the sight of Allah is he who is the most righteous of you, and Allah has full knowledge and is well acquainted with all things. The Jewish scripture tells us, in the words of Isaiah, they who make peace in their high places, may they bring peace upon us and upon all Israel. He shall judge between the nations and shall arbitrate for many peoples. They shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. And the Holy Bible tells us, if it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. So then let us pursue what makes for peace and for mutual upbringing. Finally, brothers, rejoice, aim for restoration, comfort one another, agree with one another, live in peace, and the God of love and peace will be with you. Amen.
May I just begin by saying what a privilege it is to stand here today. When my family moved into Luton in 2015, and my son Jared, who's sitting down here, was born later that year, we were one of the egregiously high number of families living in relative poverty in this town. I'd given up my bricklaying business to study theology and go on to train to be a priest, hence why I am here today. Luton Town has been very good to us as a family. But most of us sitting here know that for all the good news stories about our town, people in our community are suffering. I know that our soon-to-be installed mayor knows this, because since the very first moment that I met her, I've seen her tirelessly work for our local community as our local councillor, consistently going the extra mile, answering emails and phone calls long after the 9-to-5 people had gone home. I've seen Councillor Salim show up for the vulnerable in our community in Biscot, time and time and time again. Not only this, but I've seen her put tremendous effort into community initiatives too, supporting our Biscot Peace and Wellbeing Hub project in partnership with Blenheim Medical Centre. And Dr. Tahir Mahmood sends his warmest regards. He can't be here this evening due to his two sons graduating university today. I've also seen Councillor Salim be undefended in the times where we failed people in our local community, focusing her energies not on being defensive but on making change. It's on these experiences, which I've seen with my own two eyes, that I base the deep respect that I have for Councillor Salim. In our Christian tradition, when a new priest is ordained, it's traditional for the congregation to shout the word axios, which is Greek meaning well-deserving, worthy and suitable. And so, Councillor Salim, after the way that I've seen you commit to working for our local community, I know that that word applies to you today, axios. Diversity is often cited as one of the great strengths in our town. I want to say something a little controversial, as is my way, because I don't think diversity on its own is what makes this town strong. There is a stronger word. Diversity is just who is in the room, but solidarity is what we do together when we're in that room. It's our solidarity that makes us strong in this town. And in all the struggles of our time, it's the building of solidarity which I believe needs to be at the centre of everything that we do. Through a shared recognition of our humanity, of our shared struggle for a better world, of the shared struggle to make this town a place where everyone can flourish, the shared struggle to preserve our wounded Mother Earth, the shared struggle we have with all struggling peoples across the world, solidarity with the exploited workers in the mines of Congo, solidarity with the hungry in the famine affecting people in Sudan, and solidarity with the continued unbelievable loss of life we have seen in Gaza. With this in mind, I invite you to bow your heads or do what is meaningful according to your tradition, as I offer the words of Palestinian poet Mahmoud Darwish as a prayer for every person in this room, including our new mayor, who has the opportunity to make this world a little brighter for the suffering people through actions of solidarity. Let us pray. As you prepare your breakfast, think of others. Do not forget the pigeons' food. As you conduct your wars, think of others. Do not forget those who seek peace. As you pay your water bill, think of others, those who are nursed by the clouds. As you return home to your home, think of others. Do not forget the people of the camps. As you sleep and count the stars, think of others, those who have nowhere to sleep. As you liberate yourself in metaphor, think of others, those who have lost the right to speak. As you think of others far away, think of yourself. Say, if only I were a candle in the dark. Amen.
Good evening, honoured guests, friends, families and colleagues, and welcome to this special meeting of the Council. Please be seated. Before we begin, would members please sit in their allocated seats, silence their mobile phones, stand up when speaking, Switch microphones on to speak and off immediately afterwards. And please do not touch the microphones if you are not speaking. If there is an emergency, turn left out of the chamber, follow the green emergency exit sign to the main town hall entrance and assemble in St George's Square. Please note, members of the public are entitled to take photographs, film, audio record and report on all public meetings in accordance with the Openness of Local Government Bodies Regulation 2014. People may not, however, act in a way considered to be disruptive and may be asked to leave. This meeting is being live streamed to the public. Are there any apologies for absence, Mark?
Madam Mayor, we've had a number of apologies. Councillor Abbas, Umi Ali, Councillor Fry, Gallagher, Alia Khan, Mahmood, Moore, Raja and Stevens.
Thank you. Are there any apologies from the floor? There are people running late today, but they'll be shown their seats. The first item of business is to consider the vote of thanks. Sorry. Councillor Burnett, did you?
I just wanted to add to the apologies. There's Councillor Begum and Councillor Taylor. I don't recall the Deputy Chief did read them out. Did you read them out?
No, I didn't, Councillor Bennett.
Yes,
they weren't on the list, but we'll add them to the notes.
Please, thank you.
you.
I think that's what I've recalled.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The first item of business is to consider the vote of thanks to the immediate past mayor. I call upon Councillor Simmons.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and good evening, everyone. It is with great pleasure that I stand this evening to thank Yaqub, our past mayor, for his hard work during this past year. He attended over 283 events and raised a fantastic £15,600 for his charities, Kids Out UK, Luton Food Bank and Luton All Women's Centre. I know how pleased you were to be part of the celebrations when the Hatters went into the Premier League, and were proud to attend events like Windrush Civic Flag Raising event, the Ukrainian Independence Day event, All Saints Annual Peace Light Service, and of course the opening of the International Carnival 2023, to name a few of the many events you attended last year. Well done for hosting the charity Iftar event, at which you raised £3,800 for the Medical Aid to Palestine charity. I would also like to thank you on behalf of Council for your courage and integrity when at times during the past year things have been difficult, with you receiving personal insults, and particularly for continuing to represent the town even though you suffered a close personal loss. So thank you again for being a tremendous ambassador for our town and the council, and I wish you and your family well for the future.
Is the motion seconded? Are there any other speakers to the motion? Fatima.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just want to say a few words about Yaqub, being my ward colleague. Thank you for representing the past year, for all your hard work. It has been a great year for us. And my highlight of the year is when you raised the Premier League trophy on the stage with all the players. So it has been a great year. You raised Luton on a local and national level. Thank you for raising awareness and supporting our local charities, as Hazel mentioned. Most of the things I wanted to mention, Hazel already mentioned, so I won't repeat. Just that it has been a difficult year for you personally, and especially when you received all the online abuse for doing your role, for representing the various communities we have. So thank you so much for surviving all that. Thank you so much for doing everything you have done. And I am glad to have my ward colleague back. Thank you.
Are there any other speakers to the motion? Does the council agree the motion? Excellent. The motion is carried. I now invite Councillor Hanif to come to the dais. I have pleasure in presenting you with the past Mayor's badge. I now invite you to respond.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and congratulations on becoming the Mayor of the finest borough in the land. Looking back, I have many fond memories, starting with the Luton Town FC's promotion to the Premier League and the worldwide exposure that the town received as a result. So much so that the town has even been added to some people's bucket list. In addition to this, there was the Barco Festival, the Conte Gala, the Yam Festival, Desi Fest, Colours of Eid, to name a few of the many extraordinary events taking place right here in Luton. I even appeared inadvertently in a viral documentary on YouTube, reminding the world what a truly great place the town is and the great people that reside here. Being the mayor, you get to appreciate the greatness of the town and its people. The town itself benefits from over 150 languages being spoken here, in addition to being home to people hailing from all over the world. As a mayor, I learned so much in that this town is abundantly rich in diversity, culture, flavours, food, culture and history. In the end, I did over 210 engagements, even venturing outside of the continent. There were, as Hazel mentioned, some challenging times which I was able to negotiate with the help of my family, fellow councillors and the town's members of parliament. Regarding this, I was told that it's part of the territory. However, we should never normalise hate and challenge it wherever it happens and whenever it happens. And this is the true, as Father Luke said, the true strength of this town is that we continue to show so much solidarity. Just by looking around this chamber, you just see what an amazing place this town is and continues to be. I was proud to have chosen charities from across the borough, the Luton Food Bank, the All Women's Centre and Kids Out. This was important to me as charity starts at home. In total, £15,593 was raised. I would like to say many thanks to Parking Services for their generous donation of over £13,000. And again, as Hazel mentioned, there was a fundraiser for Palestine, which again raised close to £4,000. Finally, I would like to thank all the officers, starting with Dave Jones, for ensuring that I was made it to all my events. Thanks to Anne, Simone and Amara and the team for taking care of my diary and helping in running my mayoral events and fundraisers. And again, I would like to thank everyone and my fellow colleagues for giving me the responsibility and allowing me to discharge my duties with a lot of dignity and honour. Thank you.
Madam Mayor, at the annual meeting of the Council on the 21st of May 2024, you were elected Mayor of the Borough of Luton for this municipal year, and you took your declaration of acceptance of office in the following terms. I, Councillor Tamina Salim, having been elected to the office of Mayor of Luton Borough Council, hereby declare that I take that office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it, according to the best of my judgment and ability. I undertake and observe the code as to the conduct which is expected of members of Luton Borough Council. I now invite Councillor Maria Lovell, the member of the council who proposed you at the meeting on the 21st of May, to say a few words.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As we arrived in the town hall as new councillors in 2019, during our first daunting weeks going through inductions and navigating our way around in our new roles and trying to make sense of it all, I got used to sitting next to a seemingly quiet and softly spoken lady who introduced herself as Tamina. But she would disappear very quickly after meetings, so it was hard to catch her, as she always slipped away quietly until I eventually caught up with her and we started a conversation to get to know each other. It was almost like a speed dating effort with her, and here we are 6 years on, still working together as colleagues and as friends. As she says herself, I'm the only one to tell her off when she needs to be, but we soon realized we share the same passion and commitment to impact the grassroots of our community. And eventually, she and Councillor Amy Nichols supported me as Deputy Mayor to launch the Luton Women's Network, which progressed successfully and has now been adopted by the Council as a hub to support women's organisations in Luton. Members of the Council and distinguished guests, I present the biography of our elected Mayor. Councillor Tamina Salim heralds from the land of the Luddites. The handsome Huddersfield nestled in the Pennines, like many of Luton's residents, she was born outside of Bedfordshire, which in her case was Sheffield. She is made in Sheffield. She excelled in art at school and was at the age of 16 headhunted and offered an apprenticeship at Coxgrove Hall Limited, Danger Mouse, which she turned down horrified by the prospect of parental disapproval, opting instead to study law. On graduating and discovering that she was far too empathetic for criminal law, her only preference in that field, she worked at the University of Huddersfield, co-authoring Keckley's Young Carers with Professor Eric Blythe, Senior Social Research Lecturer. The report spearheaded the launch of the Keckley's Young Carers project and continues to today, of which she professes she is proud. Following the Manningham riots in Bradford in the mid-90s, she designed and delivered training to the Bradford, West Yorkshire police workforce, for which she received a Good Citizenship Award. Tamina was too busy being an activist to receive it, so her mother and sister fulfilled that honour. I'm glad you're here today. She moved to East London in 1998, simultaneously embarking on a multitudinous parallel voluntary and career paths. To name a few: New Deal Project Manager Hackney, Media Officer MCB, Project Manager Community Safety Team Redbridge, National Chair Islam Awareness Week, Rumi's Tales Artist Trends Magazine, Editor Limelight Magazine, Luton Culture, co-founder of a women's human rights consultancy and marketing for Marie Curie. Tamina arrived in Luton in 2007 with her young family, having been prized out of London, the youngest at the time being just 2 weeks old. She worked in Redbridge and found it a pleasant commute. Witnessing growing inequalities under the Conservative government, she ceased shouting at the radio to stand as a councillor. In 2019, she became a Round Green councillor and now representing Biscot. A dedicated serial volunteer since the age of 19, when she offered free legal advice through her university's free representation unit. At present, she dabbles in Keep Luton Tidy, Edible Luton, Neighbourhood Watch, and supports the innovative Biscot Peace and Wellbeing Hub, which was mentioned earlier. She speaks Urdu in her own unique way, and her Arabic recitation can be quite good. She enjoys gardening and reading in her spare time, of which she says, has very little. Tamina was appointed portfolio holder for Children's Services at Luton Borough Council from May 2021 to May 2024. As the voice of the child, she was legally responsible for the oversight of over 200 statutory duties relating to children and young people, covering education, well-being, and social care. Tamina describes childhood as the spine of a book, to which every day of our adult lives is attached to like a page. Our childhoods are connected to our adult lives. A hurt child leads to a hurt adult. Therefore, every childhood deserves to be preciously protected. She states the role has been an honor with too many positive memories of our children and young people and their achievements to recount. Adding the team are second to none, and every social worker she has had the pleasure to encounter has been inspirational. While sad to have moved on, she looks back with pride and joy at what has been achieved over the past 3 years. Tamina has embraced the role of mayoralty, but much more than the ceremonial aspects. She's looking forward to meeting the no-nonsense, let's get it done, salt of the earth types that make up Luton and remind her of her own northern roots. I'm delighted to move the nomination of Councillor Tamina Salim as our mayor. Thank you.
I now invite Councillor Rob Roach, the seconder at the meeting on the 21st of May, to say a few words.
Thank you very much. I got to know Tamina in 2019. We both got elected at the same time, as already said, in moving round green, and she got re-elected in 2023. Quite strange, I'm reading about the Luddites in Huddersfield. It's amazing, really, and if anybody wants to read about working class people getting oppressed, please read that book about the Luddites in Huddersfield. They were going against challenge, they were going against change because they had to try and protect their jobs. We're still there today, in all fairness. But anyway, getting back to why we're here tonight, because I thought that was quite a unique sort of roll into it, just reading about the Luddites in Huddersfield there. Again, I want to talk about a little bit around about the portfolio for children's services, which you graciously said was being the voice of the child, and you was legally responsible for the oversight of 200 statutory duties related to children and young people, covering education, health and well-being, family partnership and social care. And that book, that being about the spine of the book is, I don't know if people want to listen to it, let me just repeat that again because it's actually important. The spine of a book to which every day our adult lives are attached like a page. Our childhoods are connected to our adult lives. A hurt child leads to a hurt adult. That's quite powerful. So please let's think about that as we move forward. Therefore, every child deserves to be protected. Tamina does have positive memories of being a portfolio holder in children's services, and she was part of a team that created the council's social work academy. She's part of a team that's working the youth with a fully functional working youth council, and worked tirelessly to recruit foster parents, to name just a few achievements. Everywhere we had things going on, we had to get the foster team there on the weekends to promote foster parenting. Diversity was at the heart of what Tamina wanted to succeed in her role, and for Luton to become a child-friendly town where every child matters and children of all cultures were given every opportunity. Now onto a new role as the Mayor of Luton. I know Tamina is looking forward to this role and meeting more of the wonderful community that we have. It is with that I know Tamina will make a great Mayor, and she knows that she will have our full support. I second this.
Madam Mayor, I now invite you to retire to the Mayor's Parlour to put on the robes of office. On behalf of the council of this borough, I now formally present you with the chain and badge of Office of Mayor.
Please be seated.
Madam Mayor, I invite you to make any Mayor's announcements.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, colleagues, friends and family, I am honoured to stand before you today as the newly invested Mayor of Luton. To our members and officers, thank you for your support and collaboration. To our guests, your presence signifies the strength of our community and our shared vision for a brighter future for Luton. To my family and friends, thank you for your support, love and encouragement. I would like to begin by listing my 5 chosen charities. Level Trust Uniform Exchange, based in the Mall, the Curry Kitchen, which is part of the Community Interest Group, providing hot meals for those most in need, the West Indian Community Action Community Association's Luncheon Club at Berry Park Community Centre, Field of Dreams with Active Luton supporting young asylum seekers, and Medical Aid for Palestinians. I became Mayor of Luton 8 weeks ago, and as your first citizen, it is my privilege and honour to represent the town, and what a start it's been. I became Mayor of Luton 2 days after 2 days after I became Mayor, we had the Radio 1 Big Weekend with over 100,000 people enjoying world-class performances at Stockwood Park as we showcased 4 local acts live-streamed across the world to millions. A highlight for me was Coldplay, Viva La Vida, a favourite. Not bad for my first festival, and possibly the only performance of Orange by Chris Martin. How many towns have a song written by Coldplay for them? A year after the Hatters joined the Premier League, the Radio 1 Big Weekend put Luton back on the map. The past 2 months have been a whirlwind of events, large and small, from the Luton International Carnival to the D-Day 80th anniversary commemoration, picnic in the park, to the Windrush flag-raising event and our first refugee week here in Luton. I've presided over citizenship ceremonies for 200 people, the launch of Pride, and of course the recent Food Bank Colour Run and Bright Star Awards for our children in care, as well as dozens of other events. Councillor Dave Taylor said it was going to be a roller coaster, and it has been. The amount and breadth of community activity is astonishing. I've even been to an Italian Bengali community event. However, one thing stands out amongst all our communities, and that is the will to help one another. Do you recall the Saturday before last when it rained non-stop here in Luton? Yeah. Well, that was the morning the Luton Food Bank chose to do its colour run. A colour run for the uninitiated is a 3.5-mile run where the participants are pelted with bags of brightly coloured powder that is designed to stick by gleeful volunteers. The race began precisely at the moment when the rain was at its most torrential. I expected a low turnout, but to my amazement, people arrived in their droves. Hundreds upon hundreds, school staff and students, work colleagues, friends and families. All completely drenched and shivering, but smiling with pride. even as they reach the finish line, looking like a mass of soggy rainbows. As one participant said, it's worth it for a good cause. We have, as our Councillor Hanif said, 150 languages and dialects spoken in Luton. We are a tapestry of culture and identity, yet we are all united in our diversity. That is Luton's greatest strength, and possibly what infuriates some. At the Luton Pride launch event recently, I acknowledged those who have fought for their human rights and recognition. And I stated that I stand with all our residents who champion their rights, as the rights that protect one are the same that protect us all, and should be fiercely protected against bigotry, prejudice and hate. I will continue to stand with all our residents who champion their rights, I will continue to stand with all our residents and to hear the voices of the marginalised and discriminated and to champion them. In my term of office, I will build on our Luton No Place for Hate campaign. I am committed to fostering an environment where every resident feels safe, valued and heard. I will tirelessly promote 2040. The vision is illustrated in the chamber here today. Credit goes to our Chief Executive, Robin Porter, for conceptualising it and for his relentless effort and enthusiasm in driving positive change for Luton. Luton 2040 is our great ambition and collective aim for our town. Our vision is a healthy, fair and sustainable town where everyone can thrive and no one has to live in poverty, because in the words of Derek Ludlow that resonated in this chamber just a few months ago, Luton deserves better. The people of Luton have their roots in all four corners of the earth, and events abroad affect residents directly here, whether that's war in Ukraine, the bombing of Gaza, the occupation of Kashmir, conflict in Sudan, or earthquakes in Turkey and China. The shocks are acutely felt in Luton. As Lutonians, we know there is no hierarchy to humanity. Our compassion extends to all, which makes Luton, despite its relatively small size and its own economic hardships, one of the most generous towns in the UK according to Just Giving. That is the Luton we know and love. Also during my term in office, I will partner with Councillor Maria Lovell, fellow councillors and local organisations to host a conference on International Women's Day in March 2025. We will invite all members of our community, as discrimination and the impact of violence against women affects all of us. In conclusion, I would like to thank my friends and family here today. Firstly, my mother Razia Begum and father Muhammad Salim for being exemplar parents, to my daughters who are strong and compassionate young women and who bring me joy, to my siblings, their families, my nephews and niece, all of whom I admire and love. Special thanks go to Ake Kibona and Jack Emerson. Jack and Chi were childhood friends of my son Adam and two of the three musketeers. I believe he is here in spirit too. No doubt he is looking down on us with an amused smile and a twinkle in his eye. And who knows, my master artist may even be capturing these moments with a heavenly post-it note or two. To my own fellow Momsketeers, Sue and Nicole, let's have tea and a catch-up soon. Kalsum Ahmed and Zafar Bashir, thank you as ever for your friendship and for travelling from Bristol to be here today. Your continued support and friendship are valued. To the members of the Biscop Peace and Wellbeing Hub, a partnership between St Andrew's Church, Blenheim Medical Centre and numerous community partners and the Council, I am so proud of what has been collectively achieved, addressing health inequalities by working with one another, making our environment more beautiful, increasing biodiversity with our artistic gorilla seed bombing, being eco-friendly and supporting our youth. Luke, Tahir, Rose, Carmelita and Jutsna, you care about the people of Biscot and enjoy bringing us together to share their skills and to build friendships across communities. You epitomise everything that we want in our Marmot town of equity in reducing health disparities by supporting mums, teenagers, families and the lonely and the elderly. You show true power lies in each of us contributing to our communities for the service of others. That is why the Hub is so exciting, an example to us as politicians. Thank you also to other friends present here today. Forgive me for not naming all of you. And thank you all of you for being here and for your continued shared vision for Luton. Together we will achieve great things. I'd like to credit Councillor Yaqub Hanif and Councillor Maria Lovell, MBE, for encouraging me to take this role. It's been a joy and a privilege so far to be your mayor. Thank you. At the annual meeting of the Council on the 21st of May 2024, Councillor Babatunde Ajisola was elected Deputy Mayor of the Borough of Luton for this municipal year and took his declaration of acceptance of office in the following terms. I, Councillor Babatunde Ajisola, having been elected to the office of Deputy Mayor of Luton Borough Council, hereby declare that I take that office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it, according to the best of my judgment and ability. I undertake to observe the code as to the conduct which is expected of members of Luton Borough Council. I now invite Councillor Amy Nichols, the member of the Council who proposed you at the meeting on the 21st of May, to say a few words.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and I'm very proud to stand here today to talk about my friend and colleague, Councillor Babatunde Ajisola. So Babatunde, or Tunde as many of us know him, is a very proud Lutonian. But like many in our town, he was not born in Luton, but in Nigeria. And he's very proud to now be Luton's first Deputy Mayor of Nigerian heritage. And perhaps, we can give a little clap to that. And perhaps even the first mayor in years to come. So, Babatunde moved to Luton 18 years ago, making our wonderful town his home and starting to raise his beautiful family here. Tunde is incredibly passionate about improving our town, giving back to our community, and in his day job, he's an IT consultant, but in his spare time, he's volunteered in several sectors across our town, including mentoring young people, being school governor, and as a registered football referee. And football, specifically our mighty Luton town, is something that all three of us North Wales councillors share and are very passionate about. But since being elected last year, Babatunde has worked tirelessly to support people in North Wales and represent their views and interests in this very chamber. It's been a great honour to have him as a friend and comrade over a number of years, as a colleague in North Wales, and an even greater honour to propose him to be our Deputy Mayor for this year. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
I now invite Councillor Rob Roach, the seconder, at the meeting on the 23rd of May to say a few words.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Councillor Babatunde Ajisola, fondly known as Tunde to all of us, as he's been a friend and a Labour Party ally for many years. Tunde is also a valued ward colleague, as my fellow councillor Amy Nichols has just said. He is popular with the residents. They like him, he's approachable, and he upholds his cultural values, which he brings to what he does, and is liked for that. In the years I've known Tunde, I'm aware of his passion for politics, socialism, fairness, family, his culture, and again, football. As we said, we're all Luton Town supporters. Tunde is a qualified football referee, which I know he loves and he holds dearly, within the Bedfordshire Football Association, and takes his role seriously, along with progressing his daughter's love of playing football. Tunde is a great campaigner for the values of the Labour Party. It always amazed me at the election times how he would just stop and ask people in the streets if they voted, and did you vote Labour? Whilst constantly talking to someone else on the phone, asking the same question. He's just relentless. I remember when Tunde asked me to assist him with a case, and we both visited a resident whose living conditions at the time were very poor. I could see that Tunde was overwhelmed with what he saw and was a bit emotional. It proved what I already knew, that Tunde was a person who cared about the people he represented. Tunde is a credit to the Labour group and Luton, will be a credit to the position of Deputy Mayor. He will do a great job and he will bring to the role his own personality and culture, which I know he's very proud of. I second the appointment. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Nichols and Councillor Roche. That concludes the meeting of this council. I now invite members and guests to take light refreshments in committees rooms 1 and 2.